Hey, what's going on, everybody? Who be 186? Hold on a second. Yeah, what's going on, everybody? Who be 186? Back again with another video. How y'all doing this evening? If you guys are watching this, what day is it today? Today is the April 20th on a Monday. Hopefully, you guys are staying safe. Hopefully, you guys are, are healthy, and obviously this coronavirus thing is still going on. But hopefully everyone's safe and sound. Now, this is a bit controversial topic that I want to discuss, and I know not everybody who's going to watch this is going to agree with me. Now, for context, for those of you who don't know, who don't follow me on Twitter or what have you, I am black. I am African American. So I just want to put that out there before I make any statements that I make on this topic. Now, if you someone who's following the fighting game community, you probably already know about the story. But what happened was a few days ago, someone named Low Tier God. He's a guy who's very notorious in the fighting game community. Been around for a long time. He's a guy who does streams. He's one of those like rage gameplay streamers or whatever, right? Like he curses a lot, very lewd, very rude, type of personality. That's what That's kind of like that's his shtick. You know, what I mean, he's been that way for years. Kind of similar to like a DSP, if you will, if you've seen his content before. So that's who Little Tier God is, right? And he was in one of his streams. He was playing Street Fighter. He went up against another streamer called Ceroblast. Now I've heard of Ceroblast, but obviously I'm not like obviously I love fighting games, but I'm not really into the FGC like that. At least until like historically, I haven't really been into the whole fighting game community when it comes to like fighting game tournaments and stuff like that. I've never really been into it until up until a few years ago. So I've heard of Cairo Blast, but I don't know much about her, and I'll explain that in a second. Now, um, so their fight they got matched up together, and normally what low tier god does is that when he's losing, he starts making excuses, right? Like he saying this and that, and they're cheap and shit like that, all that stupid shit, right? And I apparently these two have a history. And after he got whooped by Skyroblast, he started going on this rant um about transsexuals and telling him that he's not a real woman or whatever. So apparently, Kyroblast used to be a man, and he now identifies as a woman, right? Like he's going through a transition. I don't know if he's I don't know if he's fully gone to it. I don't believe he has because of some of the comments that Lotier God was saying. And he was going on off on a rant or whatever, right? No, it's the normal bullshit that he does. And then I guess sometime later, Cairo Blast made the comment, clipped the audio of him trashing her, and pretty much put it out there on Twitter. And everybody, obviously, lots of people got upset, and the head of Evo, Joey Collar, I think that's it. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He runs Evo. He goes by Mr. Wiz on Twitter. Um, he saw it and effectively banned Low Tier God from going to tournaments. Now, what happened was people unearthed this video clip of Gyroblast um pretty much using a racial slur, the N word, and that, and then I guess she apologized, whatever, and then as of today, not today, as of yesterday, Cairo Blast she has also been banned from Evo by Mr. Collier. Now, before I get to low tier God, let me start with Cairo first, right? Now, she put the clip out there of LTG, and the video clip that I saw of her using the N word, um to at least from what I can understand, because like I said, I didn't see the full, I didn't see all they have is a clip. But from what I can tell, she was essentially explaining what she thought LTG was going to say to her or whatever, or probably post to her or whatever, right? At least that what it came off as to me. Now, obviously, when it comes to white people, and I don't know Cairo's ethnicity. She might, like, if I'm not mistaken, she might be Asian, but I'm not 100% sure. Regardless, I always tell white people this all the time. You are free to use that word anytime you want, but you better damn be sure that you have to suffer the consequences for doing so. Whatever consequences that comes your way by using that word, you have to deal with it. And credit to her, she pretty much said she was okay with being banned. You know what I mean? Like, and I think a lot of what happened with that situation is that apparently after Wiz banned LTG, a lot of people were upset that for one, this should not have been the straw that broke the camel's back when it comes to LTG being banned. Like, and I'll explain that a little bit later. But they were upset that a lot of people, mostly African Americans, were upset that he got banned for pretty much, trashing her, her transition, like pretty much being a transphobe, right? And yet she didn't get hit with any type of ban at the time for using the N-word, using a racial slur. And to me, here's my thing, right? I like when you look at the clip that she put out there and what LTG said, they're not the same, right? I understand people being upset about the double standard. I totally agree with you guys on the double standard, and not necessarily the double standard. It's about keeping the same energy, right? You wish that there are members in the fighting in the fighting game community and the community in general that will hold people accountable for using stupid racial slurs, being awful human beings. You wish somebody would hold people accountable. I agree with that. I remember I saw Shokio's tweet regarding the situation. It actually was the reason why because I didn't know about this until I saw Shokio's tweet. So I decided, I decided to look up what happened, and I do agree, and I understand his frustration, where it seemed like people who are trans who are transitioning tend to be more protected within the community than African Americans who deal with racial slurs on a daily, right? And I totally agree with him. But I don't believe that these two things are equal. I don't. Now, I don't know if she said the N word in the past. If I had to guess, I think she has. She did explain a little bit of that in her apology tweets. And I'm not, going to sit there and act like that, I'm naive enough to think that she probably hasn't said it in the past, probably on stream or what have you. I'm not naive to think that that's not a possibility. I'm 100% sure it's a possibility. But based on the clip that I saw, I don't believe that she was trying to be hateful in her comments, right? I don't believe that it was like the comment to her was not directed at any African Americans. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess she was, based on what I can tell. Now again, I could be completely wrong on this, but the thing is that I believe that she was pretty much just explaining what she thought LTG was going to say. Obviously you can tell that the comment that LTG made did piss her off. I don't blame it. I don't blame her for it pissing her off, whatever. Now, but it is what it is. Like I said, I tweeted to her. Listen, at the end of the day, if you just refrain from using that word again, and it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is, man. Like, you hate people. I hated that white people seem to be okay with using the word so freely on the internet. Like, you see so many streamers use it, and they get more popular because of it. You know what I mean? Look at guys like Ninja You look at PewDiePie, and I'm sure there's countless others that's done it, and they tend to get more popular by doing it. It is what it is. But yeah, so like she got like I said, people were upset that there tend to be a double standard. Now the thing, to address that, I have no idea. You know, I don't know if I necessarily agree, but the one thing that's very very true is that when it comes to the LGBT community and people who support them, is that they're very passionate and very protective of transsexuals. Why? Because statistically, it is a known fact that those people are high or of higher risk of committing suicide. That's just a fact. It's well documented. It has been it's been it's been proven by science, and a lot of that is because like they have a hard time dealing with their situation, and and people just think that, oh well, they just decide to be a woman just out of the blue. It's not that. People like to simplify it like it's some type of choice, right? When I mean, yeah, it's a choice, but it's not like it's something that they can just turn off in their brain and just go back to be a normal human being, right? Like I don't believe I don't believe that's the case. Now, like I said, they have that community is very passionate and very they're a very passionate fan base, right? And a very passionate support group. And honestly, like, and I don't feel like that's the same way when it comes to the African American community. I really don't think, because you look at LTG, Luther God says so many awful shit about African Americans too when he gets upset. And I don't see, there's very few people I see that come at him about it. They just chalk it up as, oh, LTG being LTG. You know what I mean? You can get upset about this chick using the N word all you want. The fact is that he has said, and I'm not talking about not him just saying the N word. I don't have a problem with him saying the N word, right? But it's just the awful shit he has said in the past about, you know, dudes being monkeys and calling black dudes coons and shit like that. He's done that too, and none of you guys that spoke out about him on it. It's only until now when someone who is lighter skinned says it. Now we get to be upset. Like I just wish that you guys also kept the same energy. I'm just being real, right? So I don't. So yeah, I don't believe that. I don't believe that her transgression is on the same level as Low Tier God. But when you ban one for saying something and not the other, that's kind of what you got. And Joey and and Mr. Collier pretty much did what he apparently thought he had to do. Now, whether I agree with him or not is irrelevant. I don't really frankly, I don't really care either way. But it is what it is, and that's kind of what you kind of have to do at this point. Like, if you're going to if you're going to ban someone for being transphobic, then you kind of have to you kind of have to you know you have to hold the same energy when it comes to other situations. Now, let me address Low Tier God before I go. Right now, I see a lot of people who are not necessarily defending him. Obviously, he has his fan base who are going to defend him no matter what. But there's a lot of people who are African American who defend him, saying that, oh well, it's not fair for him to do this, not fair for him to get banned, but nothing happened to her. They're trying to equate the two, and they're not the same. They're not the same. They're not on the same level, right? And honestly, my opinion on Low Tier God is that I think that when you traffic in hate like he does, when you traffic in the type of content that you create, when bad things happen to you, you have to suck it up, man up, and admit that you're wrong. And yeah, all he did, I actually watched this stream live of him. I watched this video, excuse me, of him addressing the situation, and all he did was make excuses. All he did was say, oh well, when it comes to when it comes to Street Fighter, I get extra pissed off and bullshit like that, which is not true. Like, if you watch him stream fucking Tekken or Mortal Kombat, he does the same shit. Like, he says a lot of the same awful, stupid shit that he said in the video, in that video, right? Like, again, like I said, like he repeated this point, and he's right. Like, no one knows who he is in the real, but all I know is what you are on the internet, and what you are on the internet is a awful bullshit, awful human being. That's what you are. That's what you traffic in. So don't get upset. Don't get mad that you get exposed for being the awful human being you are when you try to profit. When you profit off of being that awful human being. That's a fact. And to me, like, all his excuse making don't mean shit to me. I don't, and I'm not gonna sit there another thing I'm not gonna do. I'm not gonna sit there and and try to defend poor behavior. That's what I'm not doing. Just because of what you thought Cairo did wrong, does not make them equal. Poor behavior, obviously I don't agree with her using the N word or whatever, obviously. But do I think that the transactions are the same? No. The transgressions are the same? Absolutely not. They're not even close to being the same. He attacked her and pretty much denigrating her situation. That's what he did. And he he make an excuse saying, "Oh, she could have talked to me or whatever and whatever." And the thing is that you none of this would have happened if you didn't act like a little bitch like you constantly do, and do your and say what you always say. Like I said, the dude, he's gone after black people, Mexicans. He's completely like, the part that I think he should have gone banned was when he was talking that shit about Brawly Legs. For those of you who don't know who Brawly Legs is, he's a handicapped Street Fighter player. I think he played primarily Street Fighter, and he uses his face, essentially uses his face to control the play, right? For movement and stuff like that. And he said such nasty, awful shit about him, and yet there's no yeah, he didn't get banned, right? So yeah, so like he has said so much awful shit. So I'm not gonna sit here and defend this man just because I disagree with what Ceroblast said. Fuck that shit. That dude people like Low Tier God gets no sympathy from me. Because as far as I'm concerned, awful people get what they deserve. And when you traffic in being an awful piece of shit, that's what you're going to get. Don't get mad that 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 you get called out for your bullshit when it happens. That's just how it is. So, before I go, like I said, I don't agree with what Ceroblast said. Like I said, I don't like the fact that you have so many people, so many whites and light skinned people in general throw the N word around like it's candy. I don't like that, but it is what it is. But I'm not gonna sit here and pretend to be outraged and act like her situation and what LTG's did are on the same plane, because they're not. Because they're not. So like I said, it is what it is. He got what he deserved, and unfortunately, Ceroblast got what she deserved, and hopefully, I know damn well it's not going to change LTG. That's just who he is, right? Like, I don't buy the bullshit about him being, him being this nice guy out stream. No, you are who you are, right? Hopefully this changes her opinion on using the word. I don't give a fuck about LTG, but regardless, that's my opinion. This will be 186. I'm out. Peace.